R&B diva, the Empress of Soul, Gladys Knight. She's up next. Let's talk. What's up, everybody out there? How you doing? Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode over here. I'm your host, your R&B historian, Patti. And we're talking about R&B diva Gladys Knight. Yes. All right. But before we do that, I have a call. That's right. I'm calling you guys to action. And I'm asking you guys for a little bit of help. Or as the older people say, hope. I need you to hope me. Yes, that's right. Let's get these numbers up, you guys, as far as my subscribers are concerned. Yes, tell people about the show. Hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button. I'm asking you. It's a call to action, right? Hey, you have not because you ask not. Well, I'm asking, right? I'm asking. Ask, you shall receive. Seek, you shall find. Knock, and the door shall be open. You know what I'm saying? So I'm asking you guys at this moment in time to, share, the videos, let people know that we're talking about R&B divas. I understand that I'm talking about a particular set of R&B divas right now. And I'm not talking about today's R&B divas, but I promise you, I get around to doing that and pretty much working out, the kinks and all that stuff with the formatting and everything. It is what it is, but let's get up to that 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal, before the year ends, right? You guys help me get to that 1,000 subscribers. I would really and truly do appreciate it if you guys can assist me with doing that. I really and truly do appreciate you. And I thank you in advance. Let's get right into it. We're talking about these divas, right? Divas with books. Yes, I have a Divas with Book Club. And the books that I have read or I am currently reading would be Faith Evans, Keep the Faith, Gladys Knight, Between Each Line of Pain and Glory, Joyce Cinderella Irby of Climax. She has a book out called I Still Say Yes. And of course, David Nathan, the Soulful Divas. That's right. These individuals right here, they have books out that I'm currently reading. I actually do have these books as well in my possession. I do. They're right behind me, as you can see. Faith Evans, Keep the Faith, Joyce Cinderella Irby's, I Still Say Yes, Gladys Knight, Between Each Line of Pain and Glory, and The Soulful Divas by David Nathan. Yes, go out and purchase these books. Now, I'm pretty sure you can get the other books from Barnes and Nobles or what your other bookstores. But now, as far as Joyce Cinderella Irby's book, I Still Say Yes. I purchased hers. I think it's only available on Amazon. All right. Also, go over to her Facebook page. If you go over to her Facebook page and inquire about the book and where you can get the book from and all of that, I'm sure that she will be more than happy to assist you on where you can get a copy of this book. That's where I learned about the book, on her social media page. Okay, so that's why I'm telling you guys to go over to her social media page. Also, disclaimer, I am not affiliated with any of these divas or David Nathan at all. This here is not a paid promotion. This is what I do over here. I talk about R&B divas. I love music, particularly R&B music, and I want to discuss my R&B divas. So that's what I do over here. So anything that I do, I'm doing because I like it. All right. And for those of you who don't know, I have a motto over here, and it's called Put Your Behind Where Your Heart Desires to Be. And that's exactly what I'm doing, baby. And I hope you do the same. That means if you want to sing, then baby, just start singing. If you want to write, then get out of pen and a piece of paper and write. Get your laptop, whatever you do, your Kindle. I don't know when. I don't think you can write on a Kindle, but you don't understand what I'm saying. So you got to be there. You got to put your behind where you want to be. If you don't want to be in that place, then you know what you need to do. You need to come to the realization that this is not where I want to be, and follow the desires of your heart. You understand what I'm saying? Where your heart is, that's where your treasure will be. I hope you have a good heart. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, moving on from there, talking about the Divas with books, moving right along. And what I want to do at this moment in time is I want to go into the next segment, all right, of the show, trying to expand the show from just talking about R&B divas. And I want to talk to you guys about Ooh and I Like It. That's right. Ooh and I Like It. Terry McMillan, I don't know if you guys are aware of it, and I looked all over for this book. I know I have this book somewhere in my possession. I know I do. And so I went, the good thing about this is the fact that when I went to look for the book, I had to pull out all the books to look to find it. And now I have all the books out, and I'm not going to put them back up. I'm going to find a shelf or something to put all of these books on. So that way, when it's time for me to, talk about these books, I can just pull them from the shelf. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Anyway, I just realized something. I have to rearrange things anyway because I plan on putting up my Christmas tree tomorrow. Yeah, I think I'll put it up tomorrow or by this weekend. I'm going to start putting up the Christmas tree. Oh, I'm already got a little bit of anxiety. It's just what it is, decorating. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, so having said all that, that's what I plan to do, so on and so forth. But let's just get right into this book by Terry McMillan. All right. The book is called Getting to Happy. All right. So Getting to Happy is the sequel to Waiting to Exhale. And the novel follows the lives of 4 African-American friends in Phoenix, Arizona in 2005. McMillan decided to write the sequel after her divorce from Jonathan Palmer. The inspiration for How Stella Got Her Groove Back. The book was released in 2010. The novel picks up 15 years after Waiting to Exhale ends. Savannah has since married but decided to divorce her husband and be single again at the age of 51. Bernadine is on much better terms with her first ex-husband, John, than her second ex-husband, James, who turned out to be a con artist. She also suffers from an addiction to prescription pills. Gloria, on the other hand, deals with the heartbreaking death of her husband, Marvin, and the marital problems of her now-grown son, Tariq. Robin realizes that at 50, she has yet to accomplish one of the goals of her life: to wear a wedding dress. She keeps trying on men like shoes until she finds one that fits. And in the meantime, she's busy raising her now teenage daughter, Sparrow. Interesting. I just realized something. I haven't read this book in its entirety. Matter of fact, I don't think I got past the first couple of pages, but that's fine. My intention is to finish reading this book, but it just crossed my mind. If Robin has a daughter named Sparrow, I wonder. I can't think of the guy's name, but the guy in the movie, Waiting to Exhale, when she threw the fruit at him or whatever it was, and she said, he was wearing a leather vest in the summertime. That guy, I wonder if he's the baby daddy. Right? The baby daddy. Or the father of the child. I just put it that way. I wonder. Be interesting if he is. But anyway, that's just how my mind worked. But I started reading the book, and it looks like it was going to be a good book. That's all I have to say. And I will say to you like this: if I understand correctly, if I remember correctly, reading the first pages of the book, Bernie got all that money, right, from her husband, right? Well, it looks as if when you start reading the first couple of pages of the book, it sounds like Bernie was broke. I think that man took the. I see when it says something about a con artist. Like as I said, I don't remember all of the details of the book, but I think, and it said he was a con artist. I think her second husband swindled her out of her money somehow or another. Or she looked like she was going through. But anyway, that's all I for that one. Moving right along, all right, to the next segment of my show, all right? And what I want to do right now is I want to take you guys back down memory lane. That's right. We're going back down memory lane. And what I want to do is I want to talk to you guys. Some of you guys might remember this. You know, I know my demographics, so I know the people who actually watch. They are going to be familiar with this. But any of you new viewers and new subscribers, you're probably not familiar with this. And that is, back in the day, there was BMG, the Columbia House and BMG. They had like this music club back in the day. And this is how I got the majority of my music. As a teen who, you know, still I wasn't working or anything like that. And, you know, when you have to hit up your parents and your aunts and your uncles for money and all of that stuff. And for me, as I told you guys before, if you was going to buy me anything, everybody knew to buy me music or just ask me, hey, what CD, what new artist is out? And, you know, that's where you'll find that they knew that's where my money was going as a teen. And if I was in like a department store or anything like that, and they had a music section, and I was away from the group or whatever, everybody go up to, you know, a customer service representative, and all they have to ask, do you have music around here somewhere? And sure enough, if there was music, I'm over there in the music section, right? But anyway, wonderful memories. So one day, this is how I discovered this particular BMG or Columbia House. I was over a friend's house in the neighborhood one day, and she had a copy of Lisa Fischer's How Can I Ease the Pain? Take that back. A copy of Lisa Fischer's album, So Intense, that included the hit, How Can I Ease the Pain? And so as I'm looking at the cover and everything, I see that it has some kind of sticker on it. Like, I think it probably had BMG Music or Columbia House. It has some kind of sticker on it to let you know that it wasn't actually purchased in the music store. And so when I asked her, inquired her about it, and I saw all the other cassettes, she was like, oh, she was like, I got these from, you know, you go to the back of the magazines, or you just find the card in the magazines. And when you see it, you can actually, you know, get this music for a penny. Listen, this is 1991. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's 1991. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I can do that? She's like, yeah, you know, it works. All I have to do is put a penny on the card, put my address down, and put on there the music that I want. She was like, yes, I did that. I went the very next day looking all over for magazines and everything like that. And sure enough, there it was. I was like, cool. So I went in and did it, didn't think anything else about it, right? Because this is me. I'm thinking that it's not real, even though I see that my friend has, you know, the CDs or whatever, right? But I'm saying to myself, like, you know, no, this is not, you know, going to happen. The next thing I know, a cardboard box about this big had my cassettes in them. Sure enough, open it up. There it is. All I have to do is commit to buying, I don't know, back then, maybe 12 CDs or something like that in 2 years. It was different because here on this one, if you see, it says that you can purchase 8 CDs for a penny, but sometimes you can find 12 CDs for a penny. 6 CDs for a penny, 10 CDs for a penny. It just depends, it was just different, CDs, but all of it was for a different amount of CDs for, a penny. But anywho, so here's what I didn't know that I discovered about Columbia House, which thinking about it, now I go, okay, yeah, it does make sense. Well, a lot of people back in the day who did this, I'm going to assume they were, teenagers like myself. You understand where I'm going with it, right? So they were teenagers like myself. And what we were doing, is that we would go in and we would, write down, of course, put down your address, you get them in the mail, and so on and so forth. Long story short, is that one of the flaws to all of this was that I guess BMG or Columbia House allegedly knew that teens were intercepting the mail or they were looking through the magazines and did it without their parents' consent, is where I'm going with that. And so as a result, they could not bind these teenagers to these contracts. They just couldn't do it. And apparently they knew it. So it was kind of like getting free music for a penny. Interesting. I think you guys know what just dropped in my head. Isn't that like music today? Artists today, I think they get paid what? Half of a cent for their music being streamed, like, the streaming services, their actual music. The music now they get paid like a penny, half of a penny. I was thinking there was a new concept. Now I'm thinking about it. Who was it? Was it Steve Jobs allegedly who single-handedly like strong-armed the music industry, when he started to have have music digitally on like iPhones or what have you. And he was like, this is what I'm going to pay you guys for it. So this here model was you get 8 CDs for a penny. Then you promise to purchase at regular price 6 or 12 CDs for within a year or two. Steve Jobs, you didn't come up with a new concept. Now that I think about it, you didn't. Interesting. I never thought about that, but I guess the point that I'm trying to make, and I know, we need to go ahead on and get into this album review with Gladys Knight. But the thing about this is that, well, I don't know how the artists got paid. I know they got paid through music clubs, but I wonder how. I don't know. Maybe I need to research this a little bit further. Oh, wow. So anyway, so the downfall to all of this comes when that part, you can't hold these teens to these contracts, but it looks like Columbia House, BMG, or what have you, was pretty much aware of that part. But not only that, it seems as if there became a problem with their billing services as well, and also breaching with somehow or another there was a breach with information, and all of that went on with them. So I guess it's no longer, but I didn't know that this actually went into the 2000s. As I told you guys before, I was pretty much once, honestly, once I got a part-time job when I got into high school, and I got a part-time job, I would get paid that Monday. That Tuesday, I was shopping, buying clothes, and going to the music store, the next day. So I didn't have to ask anybody anymore for any money. And, my mom, at the time, she was like, baby, that's your money. You do whatever you want to do with it. So that's exactly what I did, So I didn't have to ask anyone for any money, and I didn't have to, depend on this, because once I found out about this, I pretty much told everybody in my neighborhood about it. I did. I was like, oh, you can get, this, it's legit. You can go get it. So I was telling people about it as well, and so, that's just pretty much how I know some people got their music, as teenagers. Interesting. I know. Without further ado, let's go ahead on and jump in and talk about the album review. I know, Gladys Knight. I hope you stuck around for us to get into this album review with Gladys Knight. Oh, brother, let me take my deep breath. Whew. When I first started to get into Gladys Knight, because as you know, I'm reading the book, but I'm going to talk about the book later. I am. But when I started to think about Gladys Knight and covering her music, I became overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so much. Like, how am I going to do this? And then something just, the light bulb went off. You're going to discuss Gladys Knight's solo career, not her entire catalog. And when I realized that, and I went in to look up Gladys Knight's catalog as a solo artist, I went, okay, I can do this now. And the reason why, because unfortunately, Gladys Knight does not have an extensive catalog without the Pips, okay? And so I was like, wait a minute. So she released 2 solo albums, and then she went right in and started to, pick up with the Pips. So I was like, oh, okay. So that's where I am. We're talking about her first album, Miss Gladys Knight. And I think it's perfectly titled. And the reason why I say it's perfectly titled is because when reading her book, it seems as if that's the name that she was given, that people, when she would be introduced, on stage or what have you, she was known as Miss Gladys Knight. And I think when she won, I can't remember the show that she won, but she was also introduced as Miss Gladys Knight. So speaking of that, this is a perfect segue into discussing Gladys Knight. Get a little bit of background on the R&B diva. So Gladys Maria Knight, known as the Empress of Soul, is an American singer and actress. She has 7 Grammy awards, all right? And Knight has recorded throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s with her family group, Gladys Knight and the Pips, which includes her brother Bubba and her cousins, William Guest and Edward Patton. Now, Knight has recorded 2 #1 Billboard Hot singles, Midnight Train to Georgia and That's What Friends Are For, which she did with Dionne Warwick, Sir Elton John, and Stevie Wonder. 11 #1 R&B singles and 6 #1 R&B albums. Not bad, Gladys. She has won 7 Grammy Awards, 4 as a solo artist and 3 with the Pips. And she is an inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Vocal Group Hall of Fame, along with the Pips. 2 of her songs, I Heard It Through the Grapevine and Midnight Train to Georgia, were inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame for historical, artistic, and significant value. She also recorded the theme song for the 1989 James Bond movie, License to Kill. I said that because of the YouTube and all of that stuff. Rolling Stone magazine ranked Knight among the 100 greatest singers of all time. She is also a recipient of the National Medal of Arts and Kennedy Center honors. Not bad, Miss Gladys. Not bad at all, diva. So, we're talking about the making of an R&B diva as well. Okay, this is where, oh Lord, I need to think. I can't think if I ain't got these on top of my head. I got to think. Whew. We're gonna put this to the side because I got some questions. Which this is a perfect time to say, get Gladys Knight on the phone. Get Gladys Knight on the phone because Gladys Knight, I have some questions, diva. Whew, I tell you. The making of an R&B diva. This is 1979, 1978 is when Gladys Knight releases her first solo album. It's interesting. And I said it before, I'm going to say it again. It's interesting when we're talking about the making of an R&B diva, especially an R&B diva such as Gladys Knight, who is part of an historical group. It's interesting when we do that. When we do that, it's kind of like when you're part of such an iconic group, like that Gladys Knight was or is, I guess you could say. So then you have to ask yourself the questions like, what is that? You see, it's just interesting. It really is. Because what do you do? If I would have to ask the question, Gladys, you're part of such an iconic group, have created or recorded some great songs, and now you're going solo. You're going solo. And I think at the same time, this is when Shaka Khan is possibly going solo too. Are you trying to leave behind Gladys Knight and the Pips as far as the sound is concerned? Are you trying to recreate something, or are you just trying to pick up where you left off? And I don't want to talk too much about the book and what's in the book right now, as far as I'm just talking out loud from the making of an R&B diva standpoint. And I'm just trying to get the flow of what was happening in the studio at the time that Gladys Knight is recording her solo debut album. Well, let's just hop right into it. Let's hop right into it. The thing about Gladys Knight and her voice, she is so dramatic, right? Dramatic, but to me, dramatic in a good way. Like the first line, the first lyrics to her song, I'm Coming Home Again. And it starts out with the lyrics, I'm not as crazy as I used to be. Like when you open up your album and that lyric is there, the lines to that song is the first thing you hear. And as I said before, she's so dramatic. You know, in my head, I immediately said to myself, I was like, you know what, Gladys? Gladys, you're the kind of diva where I can see Gladys like in theater. And I don't know if she's ever done theater. I'm talking about has she ever, you know, when I'm talking about theater, like we talk about Dream Girls, right? I've never seen this before, but I'm going to assume like Aida. I'm saying that right? I remember back in the day, Vanessa Williams. Was it The Kiss of a Spider Woman? Was it that? Like things like that. Did Gladys Knight ever do things like that? Oh, what's her name? Phyllis Hyman and Sophisticated Ladies. Like, I'm wondering, like, did Gladys Knight ever do that? And if she didn't do that, then I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I would love to see her in theater. And if she has, I'm saying to myself, like, oh my gosh, I have to go and check it out and find out if she did. So that's the first thing I would like to say about Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight is a very mature singer. Like, she doesn't approach music. Oh, let me say, okay. Oh, I'm going to say it this way because it just dropped in my head. So I'm going to follow it this way. There's a lot of R&B divas who went to school for it. I mean, they went to school. They went to these music schools. Or if they went to college, they majored in music. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they understand maybe like the technique of writing a song. they probably also understand, well, they understand all of it. Music theory, what is it? Oh gosh, all of that stuff. You know, they understand it is what I'm trying to get to. But this here is, I don't know if it's Gladys's gift or just throughout the years she learned how to approach a song this way. But she has a, I don't know what to say. It's just a maturity about it. She's not slouchy with it. How else can I put it? You know how some people can be even overpowering with a song? She's not even that. She's not that. She's not any of those things. You know what? She's very comfortable with her approach to her songs. I'm trying to get it out of me. It hadn't hit yet, but I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. I really do. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. And that lyric alone, like I said, I'm not as crazy as I used to be. It makes you go, I'm stopped in my tracks when I hear it, like, this is deep. This is deep. But anyway, moving right along. Now, the next song on the album called Sail Away, if I listen to the songs in their correct order. Sail Away. And when I hear this song, I think immediately of, you know, slavery. I don't know why. Slavery, like the slave era. I'm thinking about country living. You know, I'm thinking about maybe, country living. Maybe deep South living. You know, that's the sounds like the approach that I get from her with this. You know, very much like Miss Jane Pittman type music. You know, if y'all remember Miss Jane Pittman, the movie with Cicely Tyson played Miss Jane Pittman. That's what I get, you know, from her. And when I heard this song, it made me think of listening to my grandmother and my great aunts and talking about how life was at the time. And it definitely makes you want to sit down and just learn about culture and growing up, is what I get from this particular song. You know, this song gives me an old soul type vibe. I mean, honestly, it really does. And then I go into the next song, I'm Still Caught Up With You, which I don't think anything particularly about this song. It's kind of like, oh, okay. And then I kind of move right along. And then I get to a song, and it's like a disco song. It's Better Than Good this time. I have to admit that I like the song. I do. But going back to my previous comment about Gladys Knight and how dramatic she is, I think the reason why this song does not work for Gladys and disco probably does not work for Gladys because, again, she's just too sophisticated. Her, as I said, and mature to handle it. Her approach and the way she stylizes her song. Disco is kind of, to me, whimsical. It's oh gosh. It could be kind of funny and a little bit kind of immature. You like it, but it's something. Okay, I'd say it this way. A song such as Funky Town, right? I can't see Gladys Knight singing Funky Town, and I'm going to tell you why. Because, how can I put it? It's like, okay, it's a cute song. Yeah, it's a cute song, but no. Like, Funky Town is a song that even though you probably listen to it and you like it, a song like Do the Hustle and you listen to it and you like it, some artists is kind of like, no, this just ain't for you. And I just don't, there's a disconnect with her. I'm talking about vocally now. Vocally, it doesn't mesh well, but I like the song. And honestly, it's my favorite song off the album, period. It's better than good this time. It's definitely an upbeat tempo song that I like. And there you have it again. We don't make each other laugh anymore. Again, I'm thinking of music theater. I'm thinking of how dramatic her voice is. I'm thinking about all of that. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just noticed something. Hold on, you guys. Just bear with me. I thought I fixed this. Sorry. Just bear with me. Sorry about that. I was about to lose some power, and I don't know. It is what it is. All right. So, like I said, music theater is what I'm thinking about uh, when I hear the song "We Don't Make Each Other Laugh Anymore," and then I get to track 6, and track 6 is a song called "The Way It Was," and I'm liking the album, the entire album. I'm liking from track 1 all the way up to track 6. And as I'm listening to the album, her first album, and I'm liking it, it's like it's a well-produced album. Lyrically, the album is strong. Vocally, Gladys Knight is strong on this album. And when I get to track 6, it finally hits me. And I go, something is missing. And I think you probably know if you've listened to this album. I think, Gladys, where's the hit song? You know, it's kind of like Gladys. As I said, Miss Gladys, the album is well produced, lyrics are strong, vocals are strong, all of that, everything is strong, and I think that's the reason why you continue to listen to this album. But midway through, you say, where's the hits? And then you're wondering, you're asking yourself, where's my Midnight Train to Georgia? Where's my If I Were Your Woman? Where is that song? And it doesn't necessarily have to be one of those songs, but I need a hit song. And I guess I'm going back to the disco song. It's Better Than Good this time. And I'm wondering, like, is that where they felt like the hit song was? Let's do a little bit of disco. Let's just throw a disco song in, just kind of to see what it's going to be like, even though that's a good song. But at this moment in time, when I get to track 6, there's nothing there. Like, I can play this album and be okay with it, but it's definitely missing a hit song off of this album, unfortunately. And so then from that moment onward, the album just kind of like, to me, goes downhill. It goes downhill. Not in a bad way, not in a good way. It's just like something is missing. Now, most people, when I read a review, would say this album is really and truly for her hardcore fans. I don't think so. I don't think this album is just for hardcore fans. I think that this album, it should be appreciated and embraced, just like all of her music is concerned. I think it's safe to say, when you listen to this album, is that there's not a hit song on this album. But it's a good album to have in your music collection as far as Gladys Knight's concerned. Like, don't skip this album. You should not skip this album. This album should have been a great album. But when you think about it, when you think about numbers, I guess music, being played on radio stations, so on and so forth, It just didn't have that single to do that, possibly. Yeah, I know. Great album, by the way, though. I still say great album. So what am I getting out of Gladys Knight right now as a solo artist? What I'm getting out of Gladys Knight as a solo artist is that I think that at this moment in time, she's an R&B diva who is finding her ways as a solo artist, and I don't know if she's trying to leave Gladys Knight and the Pips behind, and create a sound for herself, or did she pick up where she left off and you just didn't get a hit song out of her with this album? But very dramatic singer, I say. And my favorite song on the album, I think I would still have to go with "It's Better Than Good This Time." Would definitely be my favorite song on the album. I think so. I think that's where I am. Well, on that note, you already know what I'm going to say, right? On that note, I want you to remember to put your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. And I look forward to seeing you guys next video. And if you stuck around, if you stayed around to this particular part of the show, then I think it's only right for me to ask, hit the subscribe button if you are a new subscriber. Yes, do that for me, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right, see you next